In terms of tackling security, there is lack of political will.
Beyond the headlines.
Who are the sponsors of insecurity in this country?
From breaking news to everyday conversations, this is where Nigeria's conversations begin. We track the issues shaping Nigeria and the world today. The world is talking, and we're listening. This is Trends on LJE News.
Hello and welcome to yet another edition of Trends on LJE News, where we bring you the latest and developing stories in and across Nigeria and Africa. My name is Omotola Adeleke, and of course, I have my guest in the studio already. Barrister Meme, you're welcome to the studio.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure being here.
Mr. Shadrach, how are you doing, sir? Mr. Chidi. Sorry, I usually misunderstand you for Mr. Shadrach at times. I'm very sorry about that. Mr. Chidi, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you so much.
Judith, you're also welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
In fact, I'm compelled to ask you, give us a glimpse of your weekend.
Well, it was mostly spent indoors. I didn't go anywhere. I didn't do anything. I just stayed inside.
You're just inside?
Yeah.
All through yesterday?
Yes.
How about you, Mr. Chidi?
Yeah, I was excited at least, even though I don't support Manchester United, but
okay,
if they want Arsenal, which is the kind of beautiful things your weekend will be filled with.
Barrister Meme doesn't watch football. I know that before. All right. Okay, so let's quickly run through our headlines for this edition of Trends. Joe Igbokwe slams critics of Obi Kubana's APC appointment. Tinubu heads to Turkey on state visit to boost bilateral ties. Reps member blast Bwala over compensation claim on Wike. NLC FCTA workers storm industrial court, call for Wike sack. ADC tensions rise as Obi's presidential ambition divides party. Kindness over wealth. Nasi Isime speaks on desire to marry at 34. Now let's move on to the lead story. A chieftain of the All Progressives Congress APC, Joe Igbokwe, has criticized Nigerians attacking popular businessman Obinna Yegbo, widely known as Obi Kubana, over his recent political appointment. Obi Kubana was named Southeast coordinator of the City Boy Movement, a pro-Tinubu campaign group. A move that sparked backlash on social media from those faulting his alignment with the APC. Reacting via his Facebook page on Sunday, Igbokwe dismissed the critics as ignorant, insisting they failed to understand the dynamics of politics. He argued that political engagement often outweighs economic considerations and accused distractors of lacking insight and cultural understanding. The City Boy Movement appointment of Obi Kubana is seen as a strategic move ahead of the 2027 elections aimed at expanding President Tinubu's support base in the Southeast, particularly among youth, professionals and business leaders. I'm going to start with Mr. Chidi on this one. It seems the APC and Tinubu are becoming too smart politically, especially as it has to do with the upcoming 2027 general elections. Peter Obi had over 3.7 million votes in the Southeast. Now with the City Boy movement on board, do you think Peter Obi will be able to mobilize that amount of votes in the Southeast?
The question is, the people, sometimes when, unfortunately, those in the ruling APC, when they speak, they speak as though subject, will vote on that day. When I mean subject, the governors, the campaign, their vote will count. Speak as though Obi Kubana's vote would be significant. They speak as though Nigerians are not feeling the heat of their misrule, are not feeling the heat of the corruption that characterize this administration, are not feeling the heat of the high inflation, and these are the people who will vote on the day of the election. So it is very inconsequential. In fact, I tell you for truth, if Obi Kubana knows the best thing for him, he should. Good enough, Obi Kubana has not accepted that appointment publicly, right? But then his body posture sells him out. So he should come out because it's a bad market. You know, the only way.
And do you know, he's not the only one. He's not the only one. We also have the former Speaker of the House of Assembly in Abia State, who is also a part of that movement. Enyin Naya, I think the son of the former governor of Abia State. The thing
is that you're counting numbers. You can count their numbers.
So these people don't have influence of the people in the Southeast.
2027 election, very important. Mark this. Is different from, and it will be different from so many elections. The Trump effect is there. There is no Biden, Joe Biden, you know, who has this sympathy for the APC through the Bring Back the Girl movement. The international dynamics has changed, and the people will stand their ground and defend their vote. And there is no way Nigerians will not. Look, if you want to be lynched for free on the streets, go there and tell them that you advocate. Go advocate for APC on the road. Go there without security. Go to bus stations.
Is that true?
Go and try.
We've had people publicly come out to support the APC.
They support because many of them are paid. If you want this, let's go with our cameras on live. Let's go live, and I'll put you in the midst of people, poor people, or the midst of general persons, and tell them that you want them to vote for APC. And if you come out alive, I bet you.
But let's go back to the question. Yeah. Peter Obi was able to mobilize over 3.7 million votes in the Southeast the last time during the 2023 general elections. Do you think that would be possible this time around? They told these political moves by the presidency.
They told us, when I mean us, I mean Nigerians, because it's not about Peter Obi.
Okay.
It's about what is right. It's about the freedom of this country. It's about ensuring that this country is liberated from the dungeon, from these lions, from these power mongers, from these corrupt people. And I'll tell you, Peter Obi, they said 4 persons tweeting in a room. They named 4. And even the 3 million votes you're talking about, well, of course, more than that, if you check, you know, were actually votes that happened despite the rigging that happened at the time. People stood. You saw people were lynched.
Okay, all right.
So now it's going to be more than that. So these are just politics they are playing. They should be serious with governance. APC should understand that they are not in the opposition.
All right. Let me ask Barrister this question. You listen to what Joe Igbokwe just said. Joe Igbokwe said political engagement is more important than economic whatever. So what is he trying to say there? Are you trying to tell me that political engagement, especially when it has to do with politics, is better than the economy, than the stability or the instability of the economy? Would you want to agree to what Joe Igbokwe said?
It is very clear that is the interpretation of what he means, that political consideration is more important than economic stability. That is to say, we know that Jagaban is a very smart politician. And of course, you always give it to him. You always look out for a way to sustain his political empire. But beyond that, every decision made by this government will be very, very significant towards the 2027 election. That is very clear. But it now depends on what the government is able to show for to Nigerians that this is what they have been able to achieve in the long run.
Okay. Judy, let me ask you this question quickly. Do you think elite endorsement can overturn the grassroots vote and all that in the present Nigeria that we have today?
Personally, I think the elites are their own people. They don't speak for the people. The Nigerian people, the poor people, are the ones suffering. So I don't think that their involvement in politics is going to affect the result of the election at all.
All right. So let's move on to the next story. President Bola Tinubu will on Monday depart Abuja for a state visit to the Republic of Turkey, aimed at strengthening diplomatic and economic relations between both countries. The visit was confirmed in a statement issued on Sunday by the President's Special Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga. According to the statement, the trip seeks to deepen cooperation in security, education, social development, innovation, aviation, trade, and investment. It also reciprocates the 2021 state visit to Nigeria by Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. During the visit, Nigeria and Turkey will hold high-level political and diplomatic talks, sign several memoranda of understanding across key sectors, and host a business forum for investors. President Tinubu will be accompanied by top government officials and is expected to return after the visit concludes. Also, a member of the House of Representatives, Solomon Bob, has taken a swipe at President Bola Tinubu's special advisor on policy communication, Daniel Bwala, over comment suggesting that the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike has been adequately compensated by the current administration. Bob, who represent Abua, Odwal, Ahoda, Easter Federal Constituency of River State, described Bwala as attention-seeking and accused him of distorting fact. Reacting to Bwala's remarks during a television program, Bob dismissed claims that Wike was obstructing Governor Siminalayi Fubara's governance, calling them baseless and ill-judged. He defended Wike's performance at the FCT, noting that key reforms, including the exit from the Treasury single account, were initiated by the minister himself. Bob also faulted Bwala for projecting personal opinions as presidential positions, stressing that the aide does not speak for President Tinubu. But Barrister Meme, this is an aide to the president. And, a lawmaker is saying he is not speaking for President Bola Tinubu. Remember, the APC national chairman, Ntaiwo Yewatda, came out to say that if you're not a member of the APC, 2027 election, no one is giving you an appointment. Perhaps that might be pointed at the FCT minister. I don't know. But do you see Tinubu gradually taking his hands off Wike with this statement coming out from his allies?
For me, I do not think that the problem is really Wike per se. The problem is the leadership of this country. And when I mean the leadership, I'm talking about the directional leadership by Mr. President. Before this story, you earlier read out a story about his journey to Turkey. And of course, I think the president of Nigeria and even the previous president, Muhammadu Buhari, enjoys these international trips, enjoy the good environment, enjoy the good road system, and somewhat enjoy the security of this environment. And they come back to this hostile country and they feel and they assume nothing is happening. But beyond that, when you look at the configuration of political system involves the political party system under normal circumstances. It therefore means that among your political party, you should be able to, if you have a strong rooted political party system, you should be able to get some persons who can contribute meaningfully to the direction of the governance. That APC do not really have, even from 2015 down the line. They have demonstrated it clearly that they do not have viable people who can run the system, run the economy, run the security, and they're giving all the necessary advice to the government of Nigeria. And that is why you see that they have always gone outside their political party, bringing people that are not stable in their thoughts, people that are not stable in their actions, people that are not stable in their career, such as what you see in this case. Responding to your question, if Ebola is speaking for himself or speaking for the presidency, yes, he is a media, communicator.
Special advisor on media communication.
On media communication. But yes, under normal circumstances, he's supposed to speak the mind of the president. But this young man has proven over the years that he preferred to speak more of his own, out of his own emotion, rather than speaking for the president.
So you're saying he's not speaking the mind of the president?
He is not speaking for the mind of the
president. Mr. Chidi.
However, when you look at some of their communications and some of their, sometimes you realize statistics about what the government is doing, and when you look at the reality, it's actually falls short from reality. So that means that he is not communicating from what the government is doing.
Okay, but let's be realistic here. There was no time Bola had actually said he's speaking out of his own volition. Couple of times when he talks, in fact, it is tagged presidency. Don't you think he's speaking the mind of the president here?
First of all, he's a serving special advisor to the president. He's speaking the president's mind. He's speaking his spirit, his soul, the soul of the president. He's speaking the soul of the administration that has brought us multidimensional poverty. He's speaking the mind of an intention of the administration that has successfully ensured that Nigeria is among those countries that have been blacklisted by the United States of America. You know, he's speaking the mind of the president that oversees currently under his watch the killing of Christians all over the world. I mean in Nigeria, you know, and he's also speaking the mind of the president that also oversees. Let me finish. He's speaking. He's go online. You see them. He's speaking the minds of the president that oversees.
Not be validated.
They are validated. Go online. Come on. He's speaking the mind of the president that oversees the killings of Muslims in Nigeria. He's speaking the mind of the president that oversees the killing of, you know, what I mean overseas, I mean under his watch. Under the watch of this administration. And then Boala is the same person you had to pick as your SA on policy communication. What does that say to you, that kind of position? It says to you that he is the PRO, the PR person, you know, from the PDP. He was picked so that he come to, you know, paint them. But unfortunately, you cannot paint a dead rat to paint a dead rat into life. You know, it's dead is dead. And
okay, all right.
That's what the APC stands for.
Let's take a short break right now, and when we return, we will bring you the latest on some other stories. So just stay with us and keep sharing this stream. We will be right back.
Nigeria is at a turning point. Young people are rising, demanding change. If you believe in justice, strong leadership, and real reform, then it's time to take a stand.
At LJE Nigeria, we're not just observers, we're builders. We're tackling leadership deficits, advocating for justice reforms, and driving economic advancements for all.
As a volunteer, you won't just watch. You will be a part of it. You will gain access to powerful seminars, conferences, and mentorships from professionals who believe in your potential.
No matter who you are, whether you're a student, an entrepreneur, a professional, or someone who cares, there's a place for you here.
Network with passionate change makers, build skills, and step into leadership.
Join LJE Nigeria today. Let's lead with truth. Let's build with courage. Let's rise for Nigeria. Become an LJE volunteer today and be the change Nigeria needs. Follow all our social media handles for more details.
Welcome back. Coming up, we'll take a closer look at some other trends making the rounds. Workers of the Federal Capital Territory Administration (FCTA), backed by the Nigeria Labour Congress (NLC), on Monday picketed the National Industrial Court in Abuja amid an ongoing total and indefinite strike. The protest followed an NLC directive endorsing the industrial action over unresolved labor issues. The NLC described the strike as justified, accusing the FCTA management and political leadership of persistent violations of workers' rights. During the protest, workers displayed placards with bold messages including "Wike must go," "Abuja no be rivers," "Pay promotion arrears," "Enough is enough," and "No working tools." The demonstration reflects growing discontent among FCTA workers who insist the strike must continue until their demands are addressed and outstanding grievances resolved by the authorities. Barrister Meme, we remember Wike took these people to court. Wike started a litigation against these people. Should that be the solution to this issue on ground? Don't you think Wike should do more of dialoguing with these people rather than litigations?
Well, I cannot speak for Wike, but looking at the context, I think a worker deserves their wage under normal circumstances, but that is not the case in Nigeria. If there are arrears to be paid by the FCTA, then they should do that. But we don't know under the circumstances. But of course, there are some of the essential workers that must and should be on duty. But however it is, it's quite very much unnecessary at this time to see that you have a system that is unable to take care of the system, but why the political class are busy enjoying themselves and receiving and standing and awarding their own benefits, and you allow the workers unable to get what they deserve at the end of the day,
Okay.
It's quite unfortunate.
All right, Mr. Chidi, you've heard the protesters coming out. In fact, it has gotten to the point where they're calling for the sack of Wike. What does this imply?
What it implies is that Wike is the governor of Rivers State.
Former governor, please.
He is the current governor of Rivers State.
The former governor.
He spends more time, more resources by implication, just like in Rivers State, than in the affairs of the FCT for which he was appointed. And if your president, our president, Tinubu, cares, because it is important for him to quickly ask Wike to step down. Not because, just pretend that you are, sorry to use this word, in quote, smart. Let the president pretend that he is the Jagaban that he is. He's a master strategist. How do I mean? Wike is bringing bad luck, bad news, ancestral causes to APC.
I don't think it should even get to that point. Come on, let's mind our words here. Let's mind our words here.
Forgive me for that. Forgive me for that.
Please.
He's bringing down for the downfall of APC, eternal downfall of the APC. If you see what Wike is doing, Wike is even fighting APC in Rivers State than ensuring that the primary focus for his appointment
to be FCT,
to be the FCT what? The FCT minister. Wike has left his primary responsibility to start pursuing what? Shadows. The next thing you hear him, you say, Jagaba.
All right.
Let me tell you, let me finish.
Okay,
Just a quick moment. And you think this is the same man you want to give the leadership of a country to handle? This is the same man that people perceive him to be at the forefront of the being the presidential flag bearer for the PDP until he lost to Atiku. So it is important that Wike should leave Rivers State and come down, focus on FCT. Okay. If you cannot focus on FCT, Tinubu remove him. If you cannot remove him, we will not be surprised because it shows incompetence on your part.
All right. Let's move on to the next story. Cracks are emerging within the African Democratic Congress ADC over the presidential ambition of former Anambra State Governor Peter Obi. Findings indicate that the tension stems from the insistence of Obi's supporters, popularly known as Obedient, that he must secure the party's presidential ticket or risk their exit. Sources say some ADC leaders, particularly from the north, are uneasy with what they describe as the aggressive posture of Obi's loyalists and have begun distancing himself. Obi, who joined the ADC in December 2025, had earlier pledged to serve a single term if elected and explored alliance talks with NNPP leader Rabiu Kwankwaso. The controversy deepened as key allies, including Aisha Yusufu and Pat Otome, vowed to withdraw support if Obi accepts a vice presidential slot. Party leaders fear the growing rift between Obi and Atiku Abubakar's camp could undermine opposition unity ahead of 2027, despite ADC's repeated calls for inclusiveness. Barrister Meme, with Peter Obi's Obedient and Atiku loyalists, locking horns and all that in the same ADC, of course it is causing cracks. Ahead of the 2027 election, do we see ADC being good contenders, especially against the incumbent?
Like I would always say, I would not die in their war. Nobody promised anyone that is going to be a president. Like I said, even the current president must work hard, to retain his position as a president. So, whatever that happens, Peter Obi is not someone who will have the capacity or who enjoys building political structure or political party. He seems to, gain this natural momentum among the streets and the citizens of the country. But beyond that, for someone who aspires to lead a country, must somehow start working towards building a political structure through a political party system. Because in the long run, you must slot it out at the party primaries. If the members of the obedient movement are threatening that they would, pull out from the ADC in the event if P2B, lost out in the primary, it already shows that they do not have the capacity to win in the primary.
Okay.
So we all know that the ADC was sponsored and was, built up by former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. So if you must get it, come asking P2B or giving him the opportunity to flag, it means that they must enter into intensified dialogue with the leadership of the ADC.
All right.
It's not something you can achieve, by threatening the political party.
All right. Now, Mr. Chidi, these are Peter Obi's loyalists saying there's no Peter Obi himself. But do you think this can actually escalate into something dangerous, especially politically, for the African Democratic Congress, being the coalition party as it stands?
There's this game you don't understand. Well, maybe some of us that is playing out in the ADC. And which is, the APC thinks that they are smart. You know what happened in the last election? So you keep seeing dramas like this, artificial dramas, because that's what APC wants. Because if APC does not see this kind of drama, they will keep sponsoring people to cause dramas that even ADC cannot control. So
you are saying APC is influencing what's happening?
No. I'm saying it is the doings of the ADC. This is just they are doing a way of giving you that impression that this is they are not, so that you don't concentrate on them and I allow them to Then the other thing is that you need to understand, very importantly, that the ADC is a coalition that has understanding for governance to ensure that people are pulled out of poverty. And from the makeup of the ADC, it is obvious that this is not an issue. I will tell you why. Because the ADC is made up of human beings who will naturally disagree and because in this country everybody is feeling the heat of the economic quagmire currently. So I think it's just going to be like that.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Chidi. Now let's move on to the next story because we don't have much time. Popular Nollywood actress Nancy Isime has revealed that kindness, not wealth or status, is the most important quality she seeks in a life partner. Speaking during an interview with media personality Murayo Afolabi Brown, Isime said genuine kindness is non-negotiable for her, stressing that other shortcomings can be worked on if the foundation is right. The actress noted that she would gladly marry a kind man regardless of his social standing, adding that kindness is one of the most attractive traits to her. She also disclosed that she is now of marriageable age, stating that at 34 she is intentional about her choices. According to Isime, attraction alone is not enough, as she believes character, especially sincere kindness, should come before anything else when choosing a partner. Let me push this question to Judith. Kindness keeps repeating itself in Nancy Isime's statement. So what does kindness mean? Perhaps our men might not know from the women's angle. What does it mean to be kind as a man from the women's angle?
Well, personally, I think what it means is consideration. If you have a partner, how much you consider them, their emotions, their thoughts, and basically things that concern them. I think that's what.
But now, Nancy Isime had stated one time that marriage is not actually an achievement, that she's concentrated on trying to build a legacy. So what has changed at age 34?
Personally, I cannot speak for Nancy.
But what do you think has changed?
Maybe
because does this actually show, or perhaps probably dispute what she had said before, that marriage is not an achievement? Do you think marriage is an achievement?
Personally, no, I don't think marriage is an achievement. I think maybe she has reached a point in her career where she has achieved other things and feels that, okay, now she can settle and get married since she has achieved success, she's famous, she's popular. So now she feels, okay, since I have all these things, it is now time for me to now focus on getting a husband.
All right.
Since that's what.
All right. Mr. Chidi, I think it's becoming a regular tradition for some celebrities to get to a certain age age, probably in, should I call late 30s your prime? I don't know. I'm just asking. But it's becoming a tradition. Tiwa Savage had come out to say one time that she can be a second wife with the way she is right now. Now, Nancy Isime is coming out now to say, despite what she had said before, that she is ready to get married. But I'm still going to ask you this question first before we go to this one. Do you think marriage is an achievement? Especially as a man.
What I can, from the point of view of a man, right? It is an achievement and it's not an achievement. It's an achievement for those who feel it is necessary for them to have it. You know, depending on your background, depending on your goals, the goals are different. Everybody's goals are valid. You know, sometimes you come from a family that's well-to-do. If you check Nancy Isime's background, perhaps, you know, they could not afford 3 square meals at a time, and then they felt, okay, maybe let her be the one that will clear the financial road for this family. So at that instance, marriage will not be an achievement for her.
But do you think she can actually find love? She has achieved all she wants to achieve, according to her. She has probably gotten to that pedestal where she can provide everything for herself. At this point, what can a man offer that could shake her or that could just make the whole thing different for her?
I can tell you for free that a woman's need changes by the weather, by the season. Changes
so there's a need for rainy season and there's a need for the dry season.
By the weather, changes by the season, changes by the age, changes by, you know, it changes. Is so inconsistent that if you ask those who are married, they wish some of them never married the man they got married to today. You understand? At the end of the day, if you ask them to go back to the man they wish they had married, you know, that they lost, you know, on their way to their current marriage, they will midway they will even, you know, perhaps, you know, give up before even the wedding night.
Oh,
so
okay.
what I'm trying to say is it's important for Nigerian men, if you ask me, Nigerian guys, to understand that you need to build yourself. You know, build yourself, be focused, and then understand that women, you know, with their beautiful creatures, don't get it twisted. But of course, at the end of the day, kindness can be the amount you have in your bank.
Okay. I think I wanted to direct that question to Barrister Meme. Barrister Meme, you are an experienced man when it comes to marriage. When a woman tells you what she wants to see in a man is kindness, what do you think that means?
Well, what that simply means is love. You know, you must see your wife, you know, as your own mirror.
Okay, you don't think it's about your pocket, like Mr. Chidi just said?
Pocket is very necessary. Don't forget that poverty is a sin. So pocket, you don't clap for yourself because you have money or you are wealthy, and because it's necessary for you to sustain your life. So poverty is a sin. If you are poor, you must go back to God and find route to solve the issue. So that is necessary.
So that is a part of kindness.
No, kindness in this sense is, you know, like I said, being wealthy is one thing ordinarily that is necessary. All right, that means your ability to take care of yourself and to take care of your dependents.
But can you be kind without being wealthy?
That is why when you are not wealthy, you're already committing sin, and you cannot be kind.
Yeah,
because you will not have enough to be kind. You need to have something in your pocket for you to be kind.
Okay,
I think.
All right.
Okay.
Otherwise, people will see you as a wicked person because you don't have enough within your pocket.
We need 30 seconds, Mr. Chidi.
You want to say something?
Mr. Chidi.
You can be wealthy and not be kind.
No.
Okay. So you can still be kind and not be wealthy.
Yes, I think.
Okay.
That, yes.
No. We are looking at it from the point as wealthy as a prerequisite for being kind, right? I am saying that for you to be kind, somehow you need to be wealthy, but not all wealthy people are kind.
But be very honest. Be very honest. If a man approaches you and he says he's kind but he doesn't have money, would you consider such a man?
No.
All right, Mr. Chidi.
I think she
you have said this.
Wait, I'm coming. This is very, very important trajectory. You know, taking from what she mentioned, she said no, right? And I want to also say is that this is the reason why we have plenty of Tonto Dike and Churchill kind of issues. This is the reason why we'll keep having, scattered homes, broken marriages, even the ones you see that the marriages are there, the man and woman, they live from the same room and everything, the same house, and they're married, they are there, internally they are broken.
All right.
So the reason is because, and the reason why your grandfather or your, perhaps your father, his marriage still intact. You go to the village, you see them, they hold hands, they still love each other. Why is that marriage why does it last? And
despite the fact that there was
I will tell you the reason.
Okay, quickly.
The reason is because take it for free counseling. Inbox me for more. Is the fact that first the family cycle, the man and woman, the moment they have this child, whether man or girl or boy child or girl child, they don't draw children to God. They don't imbibe necessary, many of them. In fact, sometimes when you even see some families that are well to do, they have housemaid that even cooks for an 18-year-old child, girl or boy.
All right. Maybe we'll come back to you.
I'm coming. Okay. It's very important. Very important. This is a fabric. Wait, this is very solid. This is the reason why we have corrupt politicians. This is the reason why check their families. Check their families.
Let's move away from
check their families. Check their families.
We will revisit this kind of topic.
No. It's important.
There's no time.
You can cut this for another segment.
Thank you. We'll use it for another segment.
Yeah.
So quickly, that's it for today's edition of Trends on LJE News. Of course, many thanks to Barrister Meme. Many thanks to Mr. Chidi. Judith, thank you very much for coming around.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you, viewers.
To our viewers and listeners out there, make sure to follow, like, and share at LJE News on all social media platforms to stay in the loop and join the conversation ahead of our next show. My name is Omotola Adeleke. See you next time, and of course, bye for now.